Hello there, it's Stuart Funner here. I'm going to make a video based on mainly on how the standard of Irish running has dropped since the 1980s, which it has, and we should be going forward, not backwards. We're going backwards. Okay, so first off, I've got some notes here based on how Irish people didn't have as much luxuries back then. Okay, so because of recession, people used to wear the same clothes every day. Yeah, that doesn't sound nice. Nowadays, people change clothes every day. Yeah, that idea might have been laughed at back in those days. But anyway, okay, so there's only two channels on TV, RT2 and RT1. Yeah, so I mean, less likely to spend hours watching TV then. And very high unemployment. Yeah, so people weren't employed, they had more time to go out and exercise. Okay, that's the 1/3 chance of getting killed in a row. Okay, that's slightly irrelevant. Okay, less cars. Yeah, some guy was telling me this guy's 40. When he was growing up in Loughlinstown, there's one person on the road had a car. No one else had one. I'm not sure how many people on this road, but I'd say there's a good few anyway. Cause I've actually been to that state before, and it's pretty big actually. Okay, so people on social welfare get what, £30 a week. I don't know what that would get you. To be honest, can't really compare it. Okay. Right, so yeah, so they have less luxuries, which means they'd be more like spending more time outside. I mean, say if you looked at a house from an average person in the 1980s, it'd probably look crap compared to your average house in 2017. So yeah, I mean, it's like houses today with all the technology and all the comforts attract people to spend more time in the house. Well, if you lived in a small house without much comforts, like if you lived in a house of say, I don't know, 8 people in a family in a tiny house, be a little bit overcrowded. There'd be one channel with one TV with 2 channels on. Yeah, so I'd say that because there's less comfort, you'd be more likely to spend time outside because it kind of attracts you outside. You get more space if you're outside generally, I'd say, than if you're living there. That condition. Okay, so 11 of the first 14 Dublin marathons were won by men, Irish men, should say. Yeah. So yeah, that was the thing back then. The East Africans certainly weren't as dominant back in those days, but Irish people have definitely slowed down a bit. If you look at most of the records, they're set years ago. I mean, okay, 5K world records, Irish record is a exception. That was only broken in 2011. That was broken by a guy who lived in South Africa. The 3K Irish record was broken in the 90s. Mark Carroll's an exception. 1500, I think that was 1982. Ray Flynn. Marathon 1988. John Tracy 209. Yeah, so as you can see, standards has gone down. We got more like medals back in the 1980s and championships and all that. Now we're getting less. We're just not even getting to finals. So, okay, right. So, but the standard in the marathon has improved in recent years. Now, in general, I'm gonna give you some information here. In 2011, it was 12 years since an Irishman ran sub 2:20. Okay, that was 6 years ago. Now the standard has gone up since then. In recent years in the marathon, you get more people going under 2:20. Like in Dublin Marathon, the first Irishman, from what I've seen last couple of years, has always gone under 2:20. I think 2:17 was the winning time at the Dublin Marathon last October. But sorry, first Irishman home did 2:17. And there's some better marathon runners who weren't running that day because they were running in the Dublin Championships next week. So I mean, it wouldn't be a good idea doing that. So I mean, you can't really judge the Dublin Marathon, the Irish standard, by just the Dublin Marathon. You have to look at other facts. Who's there, who wasn't there. Alright, so the Marathon Mission trying to improve the standard. Yeah, Dick Hooper. Yeah, he says the standard tried to drop in the 1990s. We'll get back to that. So the Olympic A standard is 2:15 for the marathon. I think B is what, 2:18. I think 474 athletes in the world manage it. Well, 36 miles the 400 meter A standard and 45 miles the 100 meter A standard. So yeah, really, it should be easier to qualify for the Olympics than it is for those events. So much more people can actually make the time. Next page. This is a worldwide fact. More than 80% of the world's adolescent population inactive. That's in the world. I mean, for all the poverty in some parts of the world, you think they'd be more active around there. But anyway, 80%. The WHO, World Health Organization, they're planning to reduce physical inactivity by 10% by 2025. So yeah, if they manage to do that, it would be a good thing. I mean, get more people out, more people active. That's the thing. If you're nowadays, if you look outside, how many people do you actually see out exercising? Like, not that many. If you start to see a lot more jump in the number of people exercising outside or playing sport, whatever, then I'd say more people would go outside. The only thing is, people seem to be running more than they were in the past. That's something I just don't understand. Okay. So he says, alright, here's a study. This is a bit old now, so he says average 9-year-old in 2000 did 3 hours of physical activity a day, and in 2006 they did 49 minutes during the week, 35 minutes a day on the weekend. So yeah, that shows how much standard has dropped. I mean, that was 2006. Nowadays, Jesus, on the weekend you see so few young people out. You'd be like, 35 seems like a lot. I'd say it's even less now. Unless they're just doing it somewhere you can't. Maybe they're doing it more indoors, whatever. 49 minutes during weekdays. Yes, that's the thing. It's like when we're young, we're more like active naturally. And as you get older, with the whole brainwashing system, you become less active. Yeah, it's like society brainwashes us into being civilized. Or if you want to get somewhere, make sure you walk. Do not run. You look uncivilized. Do not jump. You look uncivilized. Do not play around where you might get hurt or you're a little bit dirty. That's uncivilized. Okay. So in the mid 1930s and 1940s, now we're moving on to diet. So in the mid 1930s and 1940s, fruit and vegetable consumption increased, but dropped in the late 80s. Yeah, so I mean, that's the thing. People probably nowadays aren't eating enough fruit or vegetables. Yeah, it seemed to increase, and then late 80s it started to drop. Maybe that's what one of the things that set people up in the 1990s to run slower times. Less potatoes, more meat, more processed pork. In the 1990s, meat and dairy consumption up, potatoes and bread down. Yeah, so their diet is higher fat, higher protein, and it's lower carb. And also meat and dairy, the fats you get out of that are not good fats. So yeah, you can eat better fats than that from like oils, nuts, seeds, whatever, coconut, and so yeah, you can't just deprive yourself of protein and fats. Well, it's not, you're unlikely to deprive yourself from them. Anyway, you should. I personally go, as a vegan myself, I personally go for some foods that are high in fat and protein, such as, nuts, seeds. But even if you look at the nutritional information for nuts, like I do, they do have some carbs. They're low in carb. They do have some, unlike meat and dairy. They have no carbs whatsoever. So really, that's all I go for. Bad fats, bad protein, cholesterol. And not the best thing to be eaten. Okay, so 1930s to 1950s, diet high carb, low fat. Yeah, that's probably slowly gotten more low carb, high fat. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, if you look at the diet back then, the food was more natural, food was more real. And they're having a high carb, low fat diet, so that makes me think that, oh, those dogs are annoying. Makes me think that that's the way we're supposed to be. Right, so by 2000 we go into irregular eating. Evening meal is the main meal, and eating out more often. Yeah, so that probably affected us as well. Nowadays you don't eat enough during the day and eat big meal at night, so we don't have enough energy throughout the day. And also in the 1990s, I think, yeah, that was at the start of the Atkins diet. That was where you try to eat as much protein and fat as possible, try to eat as few carbs as possible. That's like what the paleo diet is nowadays. So paleo refers to back in the hunter-gatherer days, but the hunter-gatherers did not eat as much meat as people think they do. Before they discovered fire, they were all vegan anyway, so... And they say they generally only eat meat if there's a lack of plant foods around. So yeah, they weren't eating it regularly. A lot less than we've eaten nowadays. Okay, so European beef consumption stays stagnant, which means it stays the same, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. Ireland is the only country with expected increase of 3.1%. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, in Ireland nowadays, people seem to treat animals like royalty. They seem to be so nice to them. I mean, I even heard of people letting the dogs sleep in the same bed as them and all that. But at the same time, we're eating more animals. So we're becoming more hypocritical than we were in the past. In the past, they ate animals less. They didn't treat their pets as nicely, I don't think. Maybe they're less hypocritical than us. Who knows? Anyway, so this is my video by the Irish Fun Runner, based on some of the reasons why Ireland aren't as good as they were in the 80s, even though the number of people running has actually gone up. Dick Cooper also says people aren't willing to put the work in or put the effort in. That's probably somewhat down to luxury. As I said before, if you're in a small house, not much luxury goods. Say like 10 people in the house, a small house, not much TV, no phones, nothing, and also they're allowed. They didn't see anything wrong with smoking inside back then, so they probably just did that, which is not a good thing. The smoking ban is definitely a good thing, but that might encourage them to get outdoors, to get away from the smell. Yeah, generally the home would not be very attractive to young people to spend loads of their time, so they probably want to be outside more. They'd be more active. There'd be more people out, so it'd be easier to be active. So yeah, that's my video, and do what you feel is like. Whether it be like, subscribe, dislike, comment, whatever. Goodbye.